Good morning, everyone. So, yesterday we learnt about number data type.
This meeting is being recorded.
So, we are learning about JavaScript data types, and in data types, we discussed about number type and how to handle a number formatting number, and we discussed about parsing numbers, parsing number, and we discussed about what else about number math operation, math, and some operators and math we will use on numbers, and we will see how to handle them. So operators separately we will learn, we'll discuss about them. But while working with numeric type, number type, one example we will see. Yesterday already I showed you. Actually, today we will use some arithmetic operators. Arithmetic operators. The arithmetic operators, what we are going to see to use, you should know we have plus, this is for addition, minus, this is for subtraction, and you have asterisk for multiplication, slash for division, and percent is for modulus. Modulus division is for remainder value. Slash will return the quotient value. This will return the remainder value. And we have actually asterisk. This is actually power. So that means this is new actually. Earlier yesterday I showed you we can use math.pow. The same with the new operator we have this one. But it is new, but it is not suitable everywhere. Sometimes we cannot use that. Situations we will see now, and in that case we can go with math.pow because some old version browsers don't support it, don't recognize when we use this math.pow. It is nothing but suppose 2 double asterisk 3, that means 2 to the power of 3, it will give us 8. It is equal to math.pow 2 comma 3, like that. So we have plus plus, this is called increment, minus minus, this is called decrement. We have decrement, increment like operators. So increase by 1, decrease by 1, the increment, decrement operators are used here. So let's see how we can design this and how we can implement this. So all these operators, and yesterday we discussed about math function, we will implement that. As I already explained in our project, now what we are going to do, we are going to design the calculator. So we are going to build one application. So let's add the file. What is it? So emi.html. We will create the design here. It is EMI calculator. We will link all our bootstrap files, relation, style sheet, href, node modules, bootstrap, CSS, bootstrap, CSS. Icons we don't need. This bootstrap is enough actually. Icons we don't need, and script also not required. Just we will create a basic interface and a container fluid. Let's keep a division. So class as secondary, bg secondary I will give here. So let's add the class text white, bg white and padding 4, margin 4, and inside this we are keeping a div. So class as my3, and we will use some h3. This is personal loan EMI calculator. Okay, and we will keep text center. So this is the personal loan EMI calculator we are designing. This is the original size for this. And what we will do here, we'll create a div and a class margin of 4, and we will keep this as row, and we have 3 columns. Class call, this is one column, the second and third. In this left column we will keep amount you need. So input type is text and size is some 14 or something. Okay, ID as txt amount, because we need to refer this. We use txt amount. Okay, for input type is text, and what it is, size is some 2 years. Okay, ID as txt years. Okay, interest rate. So interest rate input type is text, size is some 4, and ID is txt rate, percent I will give here. And this row will have margin top, or I will just give this as margin y4. Okay, and this is the first row we are having, amount you need for years and interest rate. Okay, let's add another row. So this will have class row. So in this row we will again have 3 columns. Call, this is again margin y4, and we have 3 columns. Okay, and this column contains input type is range, and minimum is some 10,000 or 1 lakh I will give. Max is some 10 lakhs I am giving. Okay, value is 1 lakh I given, right? And after that, that's okay. We have given that value, and after that I give an ID, range amount. Okay, that is the ID for that. Below this we will have a span. This is ampersand hash 8377. Okay, and this is 1 lakh. So okay, and this is 10 lakh. Okay, we have this, and we will keep this class as float right end, right? And it will be another one. And for this we will keep class as form range. Then it will be in this way. That is for range, selection of range. Okay, next for another one. In the second column, we will add this one. This is minimum 1, maximum 5. and value also 1. This ID we will give as range years, range years, and it will be starting from 1 to how much? 5. That is another range picker we are having. We are having a range. One more we need. What is it? So this is starting from 10.45. Maximum is 18.45. And you know, step value can be 0.01. We learned all this in HTML. Range rate. Okay, rate. Okay, so here what is the span? 10.45%. And this is 18.45%. Now there is another option we are having. Value also for this value as value already there. Already value is there. I will keep this value as 10.45. Starting with that value that will be there. Okay. Now one more row I need to add. This is the row we are having and we need another row. So class is row, margin y is 4. And here what? We need to do class call and we have a button. Calculate. So we have the options BTN, primary. Okay. And text end. Then it will get a calculate button right side here. That's the basic design here. And when I click calculate, the result must come below. So below means after the first row, second row, the third row, we'll add another one div. Class margin y4 and here we want to display the result. ID as LBL result. Something I'm giving here. There we want to display the result. Right. So, and I'll keep this text center. So class font size is some 3 or 4. That's fine. Now, what is the point? We need to implement functionality for this. Let's see the functionality here. First step is when I am changing this slider, its value should display inside here. Right? So here amount you need. Just roughly ampersand hash 837. You can use input group. I am not using any input group. If you want, you can use input group. More design you try, right? So that means more effects and all you try. Just I'm giving that option. Now, when I'm moving this slider, the value of this slider must display here. It's a simple one. Get the value of range and display that value in text box. That means text box will have value. In that value, display this value. When the value is being changed inside the slider. So for that, we need one event called onChange. OnChange indicates what are the actions to perform when any value is changing. Because slider will be changing. Slider is changing the value. When value is changing, what actions you want to perform, that you have to define by using this. So here the slider changes. So let's write a function for that. Where is that slider? This is the first one. We have what? OnChange. OnChange, this is amount change function. Similarly, for this also you need OnChange. This is which one? year change function. Okay, here on change, this is what rate change function. We have rate change function. So what you need to do now, let's write a script. Okay, so text JavaScript. In this first function, we have amount change. This is very simple. Get the value from slider, display that value inside text box. So how to get the text box? Document get element by ID, txt amount. It is a text box. Text box dot what value? Should be how much? The value coming from slider. How to get the slider? Document dot get element by ID, range amount. Range amount dot what value? That means when the value is changing, the value of slider will be assigned to text box. That's it. Same thing we have to do for others. What is another function? Another function is year change. Txt what? Years. And it is coming from where? Range years. Range years dot value. Now we will have one more. What is it? Rate change. On rate change, txt what? Rate. Txt rate. It is coming from range rate. Am I right? Range rate value. Check the capitalizations ID. This is range rate. Okay, everything is fine. Now I am sliding this, it will get the value and show. I am sliding this, it will get the value and display. And I am sliding this, it will get the value and display. Now, when I click on calculate, it should calculate that based on the selection and display. Remember, we are not performing exact calculation because bank have increasing interest, decreasing interest. They have different more logics inside the formula. I am implementing a basic formula. In that formula, again, so many changes will be there. That means if it is after 2 years, how much interest increasing, how much interest decreasing, floating interest, there will be so many logics for them. And a developer have to understand every logic of that and write conditions. You will learn later conditions. If it is less than 2 years, how much, more than 2 years, how much, there will be so many things, right? Now, as of now, we will just implement basic formula for this. And in that also some more concepts are there. What is that? Suppose you see now, when I click calculate button, I have to get all this and do some calculation. So we need to write a function. What is the function? Calculate click. Calculate click is the function. On calculate click, here you saw yesterday the formula. So you Google, you will get the EMI formula. In that EMI formula, what is the EMI formula? So P into R, P into number of R into 1 plus R to the power of N to the power of N divided by 1 plus R to the power of N minus 1. Right? That is the EMI formula. That's a general thing, right? So you don't know the formula, that's your problem. That's not required at all. Not required to know the formula. Just we need to get that information from them. They will give us the formula, we can use it, right? Now, what is that? According to that, we need to collect some details. EMI formula. And this is the EMI formula. And you see, actually images everywhere, the EMI formula is same. Okay, this is the EMI formula. And in this EMI formula, what is P, what is R, you should know. P is principal amount. That means amount you need. So we will first declare P. That is nothing but the amount. So how you will get the amount? We have to use a parse int. Why? Because it will come from slider or it will come from text box. Anything coming from text box or slider is a string. You have to convert that into document get element by ID. What is it? Txt amount dot what? Value. It will get the value from the text box, that is principal amount. Okay, next. Another one, what you need? We will open the default formula. Yeah, you can see this is the default formula. Okay. Another one is R. R is what? Interest rate. Huh? R is interest rate. So R is equal to interest rate. How will you get the interest rate? This is a decimal fractions we are having. Then we have to use parse float. Document dot what? Get element by ID. Txt what? Rate dot value. This interest rate is in percentage. You can't use a percentage in mathematical formula. You know that. You cannot use any percentage in a mathematical formula. So you have to divide by 12 by 100. Huh? That's what you have to do because that percentage is converted into a number. If it is 5%, it will be like 0.041 like that. It will be there. You cannot use percent symbol in mathematic formulas. Percent is just to show you, but you can't use that in a formula. So then how you calculate the percent? Percent interest rate is nothing but per year how much? That is for how many months? 12. For 12 months divided by 100. Then it will get the percentage. Okay. Next. That is the actual percent value. Percent value. So that means actually suppose you see inspect in the console. Where is it? Yeah. In the console, here we have 5% we want. Then actually it is what? 5 by 12 by 100. This is the 5% number. You cannot use percent in a calculation. That is the 5% number. We have to use this. 5% in how much the calculation will come. That will be on 5%. That means actually if this is stored, suppose where x is equal to this, then it is stored and here we will give suppose 4000 into x, something like this. It will give like this 16.4. These are calculations actually. That means everything you cannot achieve just what you know. You cannot achieve just what you know. You need to add some more things into this now. So that later you will learn about them. But initially, this also they give. They say that percentage should be calculated like this. Then you have to calculate like this. And another option is there where what is it? N. N is what? Total number of years. But installment we have to calculate for months. Every month installment we have to calculate. So years cannot be used as years. You should convert them into months. Then how? Parse int document dot get element by ID txt what? Years dot value into 12. Am I right? Because we need to calculate in months. It's not directly years. That means so 1 year into 12 means 12 months. Now we need to calculate the EMI. So that means where EMI is equal to P into what is it? R into, we'll put a parenthesis. In this we have what? Math dot power. What we have to do? 1 plus R comma to the power of what? N. You have to define this. After that, divided by slash. Slash is for division. Divided by what else? Math in the parenthesis. Math dot what? Power. Power what? 1 plus r to the power of n minus 1. That's how we need to define. That's how we need to configure the formula. Usually that is the formula here they have given. That is the formula they have given. 1 plus r to the power of n divided by 1 plus r to the power of n minus 1. Minus 1. That is the formula. And once you do that, you see EMI formula is this. EMI formula is this. In that detailed explanation they will give. You see how percent is calculated. Interest rate is calculated by 12 by 100. How much interest it is. We calculate like this. And number of periods, obviously it is in months. Then you have to calculate into 12 and we need to all the detailed calculations. Means people who know the formulas, even they know the formulas, they cannot implement them as it is because JavaScript will not allow your mathematics. You have to convert the mathematical into this and you need to handle it. Okay, where to show this now? I want to show this EMI inside the result. Inside the result. So what you do? Document dot get element by ID LBL what? Result dot inner HTML. I will use here. So what we have to do? I will give some markup. What is the markup? I will just put some message. Your installment amount. Your installment amount is how much? It is coming from where? EMI. EMI. I will do one thing. I will use dot to local string to local string en hyphen in. Yesterday we learned we have what? Style. Style is which style? Currency. After that what? Currency. Currency is which one? INR. Okay, that's what we are giving. Right? So currency is INR. We are defining this. EMI must be displayed in that way. So, or you can simply put a fixed value for that. You can do like this. And what else you do? Actually, this is okay, but we need to round also because some numbers will come lengthy. Okay, fine. And I will give option for next how many months plus for next how many months. Months will come from n months. I will give n months like this. I am giving for next n months. And actually amount I will give in a bold B, and here the B ends. Here the B ends bold. So that means now you see here, and on calculate click it should perform all that. So what is the functionality now? We have to use the button. Where is this button? The button is this one. On click. On click, what it is? Calculate click is the function to fire up. So I am selecting some amount we need. I am selecting some years. I am selecting some interest rate, and I click on calculate. It should get that. For next 48 months, how much it needs to pay. It should get that and display that. This is not final. Actually, they use lot of increasing interest, decreasing interest, so many conditions they use. We just learnt about how to implement a mathematical formula in JavaScript. Later you will see so many other examples also. Different formulas we will implement. Different operators we will use. This is just an understanding to handle this concept, right? So how we can manage the data and how we can handle it. This is just one example to make you understand about numbers, how numbers are handled, what methods are used, how they are formatted, how they are displayed, and how they are calculated, what are the operators, what are the functions. You will see more because once you learn more operators, you know more conditions, you will write more logics into this. But this is okay, this is fine. This is one basic of handling a simple numeric type data. That means we are currently still learning only data type. In data type, I showed you how to handle a number type. In number type, you have all these options. Actually, here so many implementations we can do. Later you will learn. Implementation means if I click here and change number, then automatically this slider also should change. Am I right? So automatically this also should change. That means you need reusability, events, so many. Once you write all of them, it becomes perfect. But later you will learn about them. Step by step, we will learn about events and we will try to understand that. So initially, this is one simple example to understand the concept of numbers. Later operators you will learn. Later more concepts and different examples you will learn how to handle. This is an EMI calculator. This is an EMI calculator. Based on this, I will give you some tasks you try. Right? Based on this, I will give you some task you try. What you try is you try to create another, you try to create. This is your task. You try to create BMI calculator. BMI calculator, you Google, you search for formulas and you try to create. BMI calculator is nothing but this calculator should take your age. It should take your height. It should take your weight. That means age, height, and weight. After taking this, it should calculate BMI. Calculate BMI. For that, you will have BMI formula. And that BMI will display as number. Suppose BMI will come here. That means BMI will come like 24.2 BMI like that. For that, there is a formula. You search for it. What formula is used for BMI, you do it. And actually, suppose if age and height they mentioned, and depending on weight, actually, it will get the BMI value. Actually, weight here, if BMI is appropriate, correct, then it will say that you are normal weight. Otherwise, it will say that you are overweight. So it will show you are overweight or normal weight. It will tell you that, right? Actually, you just create a formula to calculate BMI. How to display that we can do later. You see, when you Google, you will get BMI calculator. You see a BMI calculators. Usually it looks like this. This is a BMI calculator. You just design up to here. First, you can enter years, age. Suppose age entered 26 and height how much? So 172 something. Weight how much? Suppose it is 71. Calculate. And when you click calculate, it will show BMI 24. And it is a normal BMI. These kind of graphics we can show later, not now required. So now see, when they entered the weight as, that means it is near to overweight. And when they entered here, suppose I say weight is 65 and calculate. So they are normal. And their weight is suppose some 85, then calculate, then it is overweight. Overweight. That means there is a formula behind this. The BMI is calculated now. There is a formula behind this. That formula depends on what? Age and height and weight. Based on these, the formula will be calculated. You try that. You try to create this. You just get this number. That's enough. How to get these values? I will tell you later. We will add more effects for that, because you can write conditions and you can say if it is above 27 it is overweight, if it is less than then it is normal. Like that we can write conditions there. First you try these kind of formulas, that will be good for that, right? You try this. This is one example of numbers. How do we handle numbers in JavaScript, right? Next important, after understanding numbers, in JavaScript we have a string type. In the primitive types we have a number and we have a string. Next important, in the JavaScript types we have a string type. So what is a string, and in JavaScript how we manage that string? Actually, string is a literal with a group of characters. String is a literal with a group of characters enclosed in. We have three options: double quote, single quote, and we have a backtick. Backtick. In JavaScript, string can be in double quote, string can be in single quote, and string can be in backtick. We have three ways of configuring the string. Now, what is difference is actually single and double quote you can use to uh, configure inner and outer strings. You can switch between them. That means you can use single and double quote for outer and inner strings. Inner strings. You can swap the quotes for outer and inner. We can use anyway. Suppose syntactically, suppose I am creating link. How to create a link? I am using a double quote. In that I am using anchor. This anchor needs a href. Href needs another string. Again, you cannot use double quote. You cannot use a double quote in double quote. It's not possible. Then you have to put a inner string as single quote home.html. And here I return some home, the anchor close. This is one. You can do in another way also. What is it is outer string can be in single quote and inner string can be in double quote. You can write like this. You can write like this. You can switch between inner and outer string. Inner and outer strings. So that is inner and outer string. Right. So that is inner and outer strings we can write in single and double quote. Then what is this backtick? Actually, with the single and double quotes, to add any dynamic values, you need a plus operator, concat. That means single and double quote requires requires plus operator to uh, concatenation. So concat dynamic values to concat dynamic values. So to concat the dynamic values, you need this. Concat is nothing but combine. Combining the dynamic values. To attach dynamic values, you need plus operator. String requires plus for adding the dynamic values. And this is actually very lengthy process. And it is very complicated also. Now in modern JavaScript, what we do is we don't use this concatenation much. We use backtick. I will show you first what is problem in this concat plus. What is the problem in concat? Let's see. I will open this program. Okay. You see now here I am writing var, and in this var I am defining a uname is equal to some John. It is a string, and we have var some age is equal to 22. That is a number. Now what we are doing is we are creating a message one. Okay. In message one, I am starting with a double quote or single quote. I am writing hello. Okay. After hello plus, that means I need to concat the username. Username is coming from a username variable. The dynamic values are attached to string using plus. And what is that? Uname. After that, my string not completed. Still there is a sentence to continue. Then again I have to put a plus and I need to continue my string. And what is that string? You will be age plus 1 next year. That means after that again concatenation. Here I have to calculate in the parenthesis age plus 1. Why? Because this operation should have the first priority. So after that again plus, we have to use the word, what is it? Next year. This is what the message I want. That means left side concatenation, right side concatenation, but still it is not satisfying in output. Let's print this output, document.write msg1. Then see what happens. The output, it will display like this. Output will come like this. And there is still problem in spacing. Before space, after space is not there. Then usually what happens is to add a space before this word, you should not use space like this. This is not correct. These are called leading spaces. Leading spaces means space before or after the string are called leading, and in programming we delete them. Usually in future you will learn string function where those additional spaces are deleted while reading a string. So without that you have to add space. Then obviously you have ampersand NBSP, you can implement that, or people have an habit of writing like this. What they do? Plus, plus, after that again space. Or here you can use ampersand what? NBSP semicolon. After that uname again, so again here ampersand NBSP semicolon. Okay, after B again ampersand NBSP semicolon. After this number again plus ampersand NBSP semicolon. Then you can see that it gets and display it properly. This is a lengthy concept of writing a string. And this is how developers used to write dynamic values in a string. But now in modern JavaScript, it's not required. In modern JavaScript, we have simple technique. And what is that simple technique is? I will put a BR. BR will put a break. line break. What is the simple technique is now in modern JavaScript, we use backtick. What is the specialty about backtick is a string representation which allows dynamic values embedded. Without concatenation, you can embed dynamic values. That means you can embed dynamic values into a string. It is not possible to do that in single and double quote. You have to concat. But you can embed. That means actually syntactically here what we have a double quote, a string and a plus dynamic. So value and again plus again string like this we have to write. We have to write. Now what is the specialty is backtick. Backtick is a string backstick uses a string representation with embedded expression embedded expression. You can bind the dynamic values by using binding expression. It is written like this dollar curly brace. That is binding expression. And this is new in JavaScript to use from ES5 and higher version. It is not new. Currently version is ES15. From ES5 this is there, but very few people know about this type of modern things in JavaScript. Because when people come to learn Angular React like technologies, when I am writing a string in a backtick with embedded expression, they ask, sir, what is this? Why you are writing dollar curly brace? What is this dollar curly brace? And they are already developers in web technology. They are already developers in web technology working in companies from several years on JavaScript based, but they don't know the modern JavaScript, several new things in JavaScript. So they still work with the old techniques. So that is the reason Angular React like technologies, when they come, and they feel surprised with some topics in JavaScript because they are not aware of them. So now in modern technologies, we use all these modern techniques. We don't follow the old methods anymore. That means we don't use the old legacy methods techniques anymore. We just use the modern techniques. They are more easy, fast, and they are lightweight. So we follow these very much. Let's see how backtick does. Actually, what is backtick specialty is, so you are writing backtick in that you have a string and you can embed and dynamic value, and you can continue your string. That's how we can write. Understood? That means you don't need any plus, left side plus, right side plus. You don't need that. Just you can embed any dynamic value using this dollar curly brace. That is what dynamic expression is. That is the dynamic expression. You can manage the dynamic expression by using this technique, using this. So how the dynamic values will work? And remember, this is not supported in single quote and double quote. You can do this only in backtick, only in backtick. So you see now, I will use another one where message to. In this, I will use backtick. This is backtick. Backtick is available on tilde key. In your computer's laptop or desktop, you will have a tilde key. On the tilde key, backtick will be there. On the same key, you will have two, right? So in this backtick, what we are doing is, here we are writing same hello. After that, I want to put a dynamic value, dollar curly brace. What is it? You name. After that, continue. You will be how much? Again, dynamic value age plus 1. What is it? Next year. That's it. this is more simpler than what you done earlier. That means this is how you can write your lengthy string. This much lengthy format of string, then you can simply write like this. And let's print this message to also. Document dot write what? Message to. You can see message 1, message 2, both look same. Both look same. But this is very simple. And remember, this is not single quote. Single quote will not allow that. If I write in single quote, that is not allowed. Binding expression is not allowed. It is only for plain string. And if you want any dynamic value, you have to concat plus. Right here, this is allowed only in what? Backtick. Only when your string is in backtick, then this is allowed. Then it can perform that and display. Right. So JavaScript string representation can be in single quote, double quote, and backticks. In backtick. This is one example actually how you handle the string with this. Now, one more problem is that the problem is so string can have various literals. String can have various literals. So few characters in a string can escape, escape printing. Few characters in a string can escape printing. So what you have to do is to print the non-printable characters. To print the non-printable characters, you have to use the escape sequence character. That is escape sequence character is slash. You have to use that slash. The escape sequence character slash. So we will have another problem with escape. This already we know. If you remembered, we already discussed this while learning about a concept called regular expression. Remember? Already we discussed that while learning regular expressions in our HTML. Right? Already remember, if you are not attending properly our HTML, CSS classes, Bootstrap classes, and coming directly to JavaScript, it will look like a Christopher Nolan movie. You know who is he? Huh? Christopher Nolan is a very famous Hollywood director. When you see his movies like Interstellar, Inception, Tenet, and all these movies, he's the director of all those movies. When you see on big screen, IMAX screen, you will clap, whistle for every scene. After the movie is completed, you will ask, what is the story? Understood? Huh? Because his stories you can't understand. You can't understand. Right? That means even scientists also can't understand. You saw Interstellar movie, huh? Right? You can't understand anything. They will talk about time, dimensions, here, there. You can't understand anything. Right? That means, but it looks great, visually great. Right? So the point is, without complete remembering the concepts of HTML, CSS, you are not ready for JavaScript. You can't handle. Right? So the most time you spent in HTML, CSS, that will come to picture now in JavaScript everywhere. If you don't remember them, you cannot manage them, then it's not the concept that you handle in JavaScript. That means you can't handle JavaScript. You should remember all the concepts. As I told you, go through all the forms concept very well. Forms concept is very, very important. Once you are perfect in that, JavaScript will be easy to handle. So because there, whatever topics we learn, those are very important to use now, right? This is not a new thing actually. We already learned. If you remembered, I told you, suppose we have a meta character dot. What is the dot meta character? It refers to any single character. If I want to use dot as it is, we have to use a slash. Because when I use dot, it will treat as meta character. How to transform the meta character into normal? We have to put a slash. Already we learned plus resembles one or more occurrences. One or more occurrences. If I put a slash, then it will be treated as plus operator. It will treat like a plus. Because many people ignore all that in HTML. That means some people have a lot of overconfidence. They tell that they generally come and ask, sir, when your JavaScript will start, tell from those sessions I will come. Right? Such people can't manage JavaScript 100%. You can't handle. That means if you feel like you already know everything in HTML, CSS, and you are only for JavaScript, this here you will not fit. You can't manage, because if you are following from the beginning, then only you can manage this. Suddenly you come here for only JavaScript, you can't manage, because these all continuous concepts. And in future, other examples also we will design based on what you learned in Bootstrap and all. Those only we will continue here to function, right? So that's the reason you should remember them. In interviews also, they ask most forms related concept. That's the reason you get all the clarity about the forms, means drop downs, list boxes, text box, attributes. Their attributes are important. Which attribute for which purpose? Those are important here to handle in JavaScript. So let's see what is the problem in representation of string. What is the problem in representation of string? The problem is nothing but just we are giving var path is equal to, suppose d colon slash project slash images slash some name like banner dot jpg or some logo dot jpg, something we are using, and I am using document dot write what it is path. Then you can see that it is unable to present the path in a correct way. Then your path will go wrong. You may think like I written correct path, but your path will go wrong. Why? Because some characters are missing. You can see here slash is missing. It's not about slash. Several characters like that will be missing. It cannot print them. Why? Because those characters are already used in compiling system for a different purpose. If those characters are already used in compiling system for a different purpose, compiler will ignore them. Then how do you present exactly in the same ways? So if you want the slash to be printed as slash, then you have to put a slash before it. Then here also we need a slash before it, and here also slash. Now don't think that double slash will print one slash, right? Not double slash for one slash. It is nothing but any character in a string is not printing. Before that, you just put a slash. And this is important. Now your path will be correct. Otherwise, it will go wrong. Suppose I want to print this sentence in a double quote, but double quote is already a string character. Then how do you put slash double quote? After that, again here slash double quote. Then it is going to print that like this. Usually double quotes are not printed. And you need to do that, then you have to represent in this way. This is one concept about escape. Actually, in other programming languages like C and other languages, they have so many characters like slash n, slash b, slash o. Here Slash n already I showed you. While working alerts confirms console log. To get a new line, what you have to use? Slash n. And it will get a new line. So here not slash n, because in HTML you are showing not slash n. We have to use what? BR. That means in HTML presentation, majority we do with markup. In any occasion, any character is missing in a string, it is not presenting, then you have to precede that with a slash. That's one important thing. While working with string, this is important. Another important point is JavaScript provides various methods. JavaScript provides various methods to format and manipulate string dynamically. JavaScript provides various methods to format and manipulate string dynamically. To format the string and to manipulate the string dynamically. Dynamically, we need to format a string. Then for that, JavaScript has some methods. JavaScript provides the formatting methods. We have string formatting methods. We have methods like big, we have like small, we have like font size. So we have like font color, we have like bold, we have like italics. So we have functions like SUP, SUB, subscript. You have like two uppercase. So we have like two lowercase. These are all string formatting methods. Remember, hundreds of methods will be there. Hundreds of properties will be there. It is not possible to know everything. It is not possible to know everything because impossible. See, if anybody says I am learning a technology Java or I am learning a technology .NET or C++ or something, means what? He is learning everything in Java. Then if it is not learning everything, then what he is learning? Is it possible to anybody? Is it possible for anybody to learn everything? Not possible. Impossible. It's not possible. Why it is not possible? Because hundreds, thousands of features will be there in a technology. We will learn only what is needed regularly. Some rare options we don't know. And when situation comes, in that situation, we will explore, learn about it and use it. If you try to learn everything about a technology, it's impossible. Impossible, not possible. That means I will show you the point here, why it is impossible. What is the concept actually? Suppose, see, you learnt about image. Roughly, I will show you img is document dot create element. We have an image. I will show you for where property in image and document dot write. We will write the property here. So property and br. Okay. Actually, you learned in HTML image. In image, what properties you learned? Image, src, width, height, alignment, h space, v space, some properties you learned. Actually, image have all these properties. These are all the properties of image. These are all the properties of image. These are all the properties of image in HTML. These are all the properties of image in HTML. These are all the properties it is having. Now you cannot come and complain like you are not teaching us all. That's people will laugh at you. What you are talking, right? That means it's not possible. If I have to teach everything, then you have to sit 1 year for HTML. only for HTML, not CSS, only for HTML. And by the time you learn everything, some more new things will come. Right? By the time you finish everything, some more new things will come. That means your life will be with HTML only. Right? It's not possible. Any technology not possible. Nobody can complain that, so I haven't learned this, I haven't learned that. That's impossible. Why? Because sometimes in interviews you will face such people. Right? What interviewer will do sometimes to show up, what he will do, he will ask you something you never used it. That means he will say that, do you know, in a HTML image, do you know about an attribute called after animate before attach shadow? How do I know? I never used it, never need it. In your project you may be using for some reason and you know it. Unfortunately you know it. Why? Because in your project you got it, otherwise even you don't know it. Right? And you know it and you ask it to others, then how they answer? Even they know HTML perfectly, they don't know everything, every concept. That's the reason sometimes interviews will make you feel like, I learnt everything, but why am I unable to answer? Right? Some rare type of concepts which are not regularly used, such things they may ask in some places because they may be using them. We can't complain on that, but then we can tell them that, saying that in my experience of designing anywhere, I never come across to use this. That is what we have to tell him, that I have used various options, but this option I never came across to use it, so I'm not aware of that. That's it. We cannot say that we know everything. It's impossible. That means there are so many. I just showed you image like that. Every concept has so many. Right? So the point is, string has lot of methods, hundreds of methods. Everything is not possible. Some important which we regularly use, we will see here. And that is enough actually. Even at very experienced level interviews also, though they ask only these kind, they will not go much, and that we can easily answer, we can handle that. So there are so many methods. In that, some popular formatting methods are these. And why you need to format a string dynamically? Formatting a string dynamically means situation wise a color should change for text. Why you need it? Situation wise a color should change for text. Why you need that? Of course I need it. If it is valid, it should show green color. If it is invalid, it should show red color. It should change. I cannot have a fixed color. Suppose my form is valid, then it should show green. If my form is invalid, it should show red. I am showing a label. If it is invalid data inside the text box, then that label should be red. Am I right? That means you cannot have a fixed color. You cannot have a fixed size. You cannot have a fixed appearance. The appearance should be able to change. And that you do by using these methods. These methods are responsible for, they are responsible for managing your applications, managing your formatting of text dynamically. Dynamically we can do that. Let's see how we can dynamically do that, how we can manage dynamic. These are all simple concepts actually. Simple is nothing but, see, suppose I say var, so msg is equal to welcome to JavaScript something, and this is a string. Now what I want to do, document dot write, I am printing this message, and this message is printed exactly as I written. I want to apply bold in one situation and italic in another situation, or I want to change its color according to situation. I want to change the color. Then what you can do for this string, we can apply the formats by using font color. And this font color, we can pass in color dynamically depending on situation. In one situation, it will be red color, then it will show in red color. In another situation, it will be in which color? Green, then it will change in green. You can change the font size. That means we can apply the font size. Font size. In one situation, it will be 6. Then you can see font size increases. In another situation, it will be small. Then the font size will decrease. Right? Dynamically, we can change. In one situation, it should be 2 uppercase. Then it will convert into uppercase letters. This is dynamically changing. We will write that. For that, we need to learn validation. When you learn validation, you will see how to write different capitalization, different options. For example, I will show you one example also. That means how to add these methods. Just you need to add like this. The methods are added like this. Now let's see one regular usage. For example, we are having a data list with a data term, and here we are having suppose bank. So we have an bank IFSC code. Okay. Now I am asking to enter a bank IFSC code. So input type is equal to text, and ID is equal to so txt code, something I am using it. Now I ask to enter an bank IFSC code here, and important, they may enter in small letters, bank IFSC code, but it should convert to capital letters. You see, in many websites, you will see that. That means in many websites, you see, suppose they asked you to fill a form, even you type in small letters, it will convert to capital. That means they asked us to type capital, but we are not following that. No worry, they will convert for you. That means automatically they will convert. Even you type a small letter, it will be in capital letter. How? How you can change the capitalization? So there are so many techniques here. See, how do we do that first? When you want to change, there are so many ways. First is, suppose I typed something, suppose like some ICICI or like HDFC, and some number I given. Now, what is the point? HDFC, I given lowercase and I written like this, and some HY, something like this. After I finish typing everything, it should convert to uppercase. Or while typing every character, it should convert to uppercase. There are so many techniques. Once you finish typing, that means you see, I clicked inside. When I clicked inside, this is called focus. Am I right? Already we learned now. In CSS styling, we learned focus. When I click outside, that is called blur. You click inside, it is focus. You click outside, that is blur. Or you can do one thing, means you can write on blur, or you can write on key up. You can use key up. Key up means immediately after you release the key, automatically it will convert to uppercase. For every character, immediately you want to do, all after typing everything you want to do, your wish. So see what I am doing now. I am using an event called on key up. Understood? On key up means what? For every key, immediately when they release it. On key up, change case. I am writing change case. Change case is a function. So we will put a script. What is that function called as what? Change case. First, collect the code. How to get the code? Document dot get element by ID txt code dot what? Value. That means the code enter in the text box. Okay. After collecting the code, where to show the code? In the same text box. Am I right? From which text box you collected the code, in the same text box you want to display the code. Then document dot get element by ID. What is it? txt code dot value is equal to what? Code. That means you are collecting value from the text box and assigning the same value to same text box, but this time to uppercase. Understood? That means this time convert to uppercase. This time you convert to uppercase. Now see what happens. You return on key up. Then what will happen? Here I am typing. For every character it will change. For every character it will change. That means I am entering something here, and you can see it is converted immediately. It is converted immediately. So we don't want like that. After finished typing, we should. Then we will use another event. What is it? On blur. If I use on blur, then what will happen? I am entering HDFC000 HYD something. And after I finish it typing, click outside, then it is converted. That depends our requirement. Immediately you want to change. After typing everything, you want to change anything. Usually this is what followed here. So I will put an option like what key up, then automatically while typing itself, it will change. It will change. So why you need to format a string dynamically? We need to format a string depending on the requirement. If a character appearance can change, a character color can change, the character capitalization can change depending on situation. You ask them to enter your address in capital letters, but they entered in small letters. No problem. Finally, once we collect the data, we will convert into capitals. How this is possible? By using some string formatting methods. This all comes under the category of what? String format. This is one example of string formatting. We will use another also, bold, italic, size, how we can control dynamically. We will see that. That we will see in next session, right? This is enough for today. First, you have to design that EMI calculator. You have to try that. Once you can do that, then tomorrow more complex things will come because string handling is a very major thing. And here you will learn so many more functions, how to format the string and how to manipulate the string. That we'll see in tomorrow's session. And you try creating that BMI calculator and post into the lab group. Okay, BMI calculator. I will share some examples of other batch people. They done exceptionally very well designed BMI calculators. Very good designs they have created with some graphics, CSS they have done. I will share with you. You can see them. First you try, then I will share their designs. You can check, right? Then according to that, you can create more design because when you Google BMI calculator, so many designs will come online. You can see those designs, you can try them. I will help you in implementing that, how to handle that, right? First you try formula calculation, then design we will do later. Okay. Then tomorrow we'll continue, right? Yeah.